Well, unfortunately, this first batch of petri dishes didn't go so well. I'll show you what happened. Where the drop of the spore syringe streaked across, you see I opened it in my kitchen instead of in the lab room. I got bacterial contamination. You can see the one side drop streak and the other side drop streak. I don't see any satellite colonies, which are small little dots of contamination of bacteria or mold, on the agar itself, which shows me that the problem wasn't because of anything in my lab room or anything up with the agar, and most likely not anything with the activated carbon. So that's a bit of a bummer, but a learning experience. If I had actually got some mycelial growth in any of this, I might do some tricks of transferring away the mycelium or pouring a very thin layer of hot agar over top of it all, which would kill the bacteria but allow the mushroom mycelium to live and grow up through it. There's a variety of ways to beat it out, but really what the problem is that I believe is my spore syringes are just way too heavy with spores, way too thick with them. So what I have to do is I have to thin them out. And to do that, I got a pressure cooker going of just a small jar of water, about a cup's worth. And I'll cook that for about 45 minutes once it comes up to pressure. And then once that cools, I'm going to use a couple drops of the spore syringe into that glass, thin it out, and draw it up with another syringe to get a less dense spread of spores on the agar plate. Just remember that one dish of the black morels rye. Inoculated a lot of it in the center with the inoculation loop. And that was, just an inoculation loop, hardly any spores on that. But getting them enough in the just one location in the center of the dish caused the mold problems. No bacteria with that, it was just mold. But so I'm going to sterilize another syringe in a jar, and we'll take a look how I'm going to do all this. You can see I have this jar of water. I filled it up to about 200 milliliters. I'm going to take the syringe out. Been pressure sterilized. Stay there for a moment. I have here a jar of my standard liquid culture recipe, which I'll get into again when I start making more jars of liquid culture. Good. This bit. I'm going to use some of this spore syringe. It was the heavy one I used yesterday. I'm just going to put about a half of a cc, a cubic centimeter, of this heavy spore syringe into this liquid culture jar. And the nice thing about the liquid culture is it'll spread the spores thin anyhow. And even when you have a grain jar, the spores get spread thin across the grains as it drips down through it. And the dryness of the outside of the grains also helps the bacteria stay away to let the mushroom spores germinate and thrive. So it's all about getting those spores thinned out to just the right amount. I'm going to go ahead and put this alcohol off my hands. Relight my butane or alcohol torch. Get it going Went out on me. Sometimes for your alcohol lamps, you gotta let them burn for about 30 seconds before they'll stay lit in front of a flow hood. Helps too to shake up the side a little bit. Sometimes the alcohol won't be flowing up the wick very well. There we go. So, wipe this down real quick. Do the same thing I did yesterday where you waggle it back and forth, just spread the spores out. That looks good. Alright, I'm just going to sterilize the outside of this needle. So it spits some steam out. Let it rest for a couple seconds. Then squirt out a couple drops, and then probably won't even put a half a cc, probably about a quarter of a cc in here. So it's concentrated. Then into my jar of sterilized water, I'm going to put I'll put a half cc in here as well. Give that a swirl. So I'm going to fill up this sterilized syringe. Get the air out. Now I have hopefully a much more proper spore syringe. It's the reason why if you buy a spore syringe online, you almost never see the spores in the syringe. You might see a hard chunk of spores clotted together, which a lot of times they'll do just because the spores they've used have been a bit dry and they rehydrated in a clump. They won't separate, but you still probably have the right amount in there when you squirt it out. But set one of those. Keep organized so I know what's what. I'll label this one to know that it's thinned out too. So seal that, get that out of the way. Now obviously I can make more syringes with this water, but I have plenty at the moment. My hands dry off again. Let's see, I'm gonna need. I guess I have everything I need actually. Alright, let's see. Now this time, see, I don't have the charcoal in it. It's the standard color. Kind of a peachy tone. Tan tone. I've already been using this, so I don't really need to sterilize it again. Half sterile as well. Well, actually, I'm not 100% sure on that. Never hurts to re-sterilize your tools when you're not sure. Alright, this time, one drop, right in the center. One. Streak it back and forth. Well, I squirted a bunch in that one. I'll try to spread it out best I can. It takes a bit of finesse to just get one drop out. Notice how I use my right hand. I got a little more there too. I use my right hand to take this top of the dish and I angle. When I pick it up, I always pick it up and angle it so there's nothing between my fingers. There's nothing between the dishes. My fingers aren't in there. So on. Plus two, I leave it to the side so air can get between where the needle is too. There, that's a bit better. There's 2 drops on that one. Alright, I'll wrap those up and hopefully another 5-7 days we'll see some king oyster mycelium this time and not some bacterial contamination.